Hi, tonight we are going to share with you about peppermint. And peppermint is just a great oil for so many reasons. So, the founder of Young Living, D. Gary Young, said that if he could only have one oil, it would be peppermint. And so, kind of, let me tell you some of the ways that I use peppermint, and maybe you will understand why. So, first of all, I used to have headaches maybe once a week or so. And so, my go to before I had oils was just to pop some ibuprofen and take care of it that way. Well, now that I have oils, what I do is I take and I put one drop of peppermint in my hand. I rub my hands together and I do what we call a scent tint. And peppermint is amazing because it opens your airways up, it clears things out, it like clears your head. And after I do the scent tint, then I always take and rub it on the back of my neck. Another thing you can do is take it while it's fresh in your hand and put it like that on the roof of your mouth, and that takes care of my headaches now. I no longer have to pop ibuprofen. And so that's one use of peppermint. I actually gave you two, in that it's also great for respiratory support, and so opening your airways. This week I have had a lot of congestion, and so peppermint has been a go-to for me with just doing those scent tints, rubbing it on my chest, rubbing it on the back of my neck for that respiratory support. Last night, I also took some steaming hot water, put some peppermint along with some pine and eucalyptus in there, and put a towel over my head and breathed it in. And oh my, I felt it big time as it went through my airways and opened things up. And so it is just so excellent for that. Another way that I have used peppermint is if I'm having some digestive discomfort, I'll just take it and rub it on my belly or even drop it under my tongue. And it really just helps move things along. Whether it's, you can't go, or if you're nauseous or things like that, it helps get things just out of there. And so that's another reason that peppermint is such an amazing oil. And then the third thing is for aches and pains. And so I tend to carry tension right here in my shoulders. And so that's probably part of the reason that it's effective for me with a headache, to do the scent tint, to rub it here on my neck and my shoulders, because that too is very relieving and soothing. And so it's just an oil that has so many uses. What do you want to say about peppermint tonight, Joe?
I didn't know if I was going to get to say anything. She gets so excited about these things that she leaves no room for me. So what I'm going to have you do, so I can talk a little bit, is I'm going to have you do a scent tint right now, because you're still a little bit goobered up so we just put a drop in her hand, and then she's going to rub her hands together and inhale that. And her eyes don't water anymore, but when we first started this, it would literally make her eyes water because it is just so good. This is an oil that we use at the farmer's market when we're helping people to understand the difference between oils. So people are like, oh, I get peppermint, I get it at Walmart, I get it at Kroger, I get it at Sam's Club, wherever they get their oils from. I don't care. It could be any one of the other companies that's out there they get their oils from. They're like, oh, you get that already. Have you tried this one? Because we talked last night about seed to seal, and we know exactly what is in here. And this will help you understand very clearly and very quickly that our oils are different. And so that's one of the ways we use this oil. One of the ways that so let's just talk about one of the ways we don't use this oil. Guys in particular, do not do a scent tint and then go to the bathroom. You'll regret it for a long time. Okay? We'll just leave that there. It'll change your life. I don't speak from experience, maybe. So peppermint is what we call a hot oil. And it's not because it's dangerous or anything like that. It's because it will cause it causes, I don't know exactly what the chemical is in there that's causing your skin to tingle and for your vasculature to open up, but it does create some interesting tingling sensations. And it's considered a hot oil. And so one of the ways that I have used this, and it's somewhat anecdotal, but it seems to be working so far for the majority of it, is after I've been working out in the yard for a while, I will come in, I'll take my shower. I try and shower pretty quick after I come out of the woods because I'm trying to get rid of the chiggers and the ticks. And so I'll take this and I'll put a couple drops in my hands and I'll put it on my legs to try and discourage those little critters from sinking their tiny jaws into me and making me have itchy spots all over. So when I use this after a shower, I can usually avoid most of the chiggers. And we live in a pretty rural environment now. And so whenever we have to go do anything out in the woods or out in the yard, the chiggers are there. And so far we've weathered the season pretty good because I put this on every time afterwards. And so that's one of the things that peppermint, for some people, so bugs are interesting. Some people like Amy, bugs love Amy. They just like, she walks outside and they're like, tasty morsel. And so she gets eaten up all the time. And peppermint is one of the oils that she uses that helps keep the bugs away. And so it's works pretty well for her. Sometimes she uses citronella, and other times we have an insect repellent that we use. But in the absence of having like special concoctions and all the brews and stuff, peppermint oil is great for helping to dissuade the insects around you. Like I said, some people are going to have greater success than others because for some reason, some like mosquitoes in particular, they like certain pH balances and certain sugar contents and different things like that. And so they will come and find certain people more than they will others. Let me think, what else do I like to use peppermint for? She really described the headache one real well. And part of what peppermint oil does, I'll just give you a little bit of the kind of the science behind it. This causes your airways to dilate. Everybody feels that it's opening the airways, and that's kind of somewhat of a misnomer. But it increases the airways so that I take that back. They say it makes them feel like they can breathe better. And what's happening is your lungs are opening up a little bit, your airways are opening, so you're drawing more air in, and that's what makes it feel like you're increasing the amount of air that's coming into your body, because technically you are. It doesn't mean your sinuses are opening up, but your airways in your chest definitely are opening up. And so that's the mechanism that's actually happening there. And same thing on the vascular. She puts it on her neck and shoulders, and it's opening up those smooth muscles in the capillaries and opening up that vasculature, and it's allowing the tissues to relax a little bit. You also have in here CoX-2 inhibitors. They're very similar. I know our Panaway product has the same CoX-2 inhibitors as, say, a Motrin or a Tylenol, and I believe this has at least one of them. I'd have to get into the books a little bit more on it, but it has some actual constituents that function exactly the same as those CoX-2 inhibitors, if they are the exact same inhibitor. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's the same mechanism. People are always like, well, I take medicine for that. Well, where do you think your medicine came from? I mean, let's be honest. Medicine did not come first. I'm pretty sure the plants that God put on this earth came a long time before pharmaceuticals. And so they had to come from somewhere. And many times they come from the very oils that Amy and I talked to you about is exactly where these things are derived from. And the difference being is this is still part of the plant. Your body knows exactly what to do with it. And so it's a really healthy version. What else on peppermint?
Another thing that peppermint is great for is focus. And so
I need to have more than.
Yeah, it's a wonderful one to put in your diffuser if you're like, I've got to really focus in and get some work done, or if you have a child who you need to help them focus and get some things done. It's really very helpful for that. And then one other thing that I like to use peppermint for, so we've talked about the Vitality version and then this. And so you could take that Vitality version of peppermint, which remember that's the one that is FDA approved for ingestion. and take your brownie mix,
Oh,
put
yeah.
3 to 4 drops of peppermint vitality in your brownie mix as you're mixing up your brownies, and it makes the most delicious peppermint brownies and is so
And it
easy.
only takes 2 to 3 drops. That's how powerful this stuff is. 2 to 3 drops, and that's in a standard Duncan Hines, Betty Crocker, doesn't matter, brownie mix you get from the store. That you only add 2 eggs to the powder, and you're done. Add two of these, and you will become a favorite at your next whatever party
Yeah, I
that you're
think I
taking
usually
brownies
add
to.
about 4 drops.
Yeah, well, 2, 3, 4. And you add some drops, but if you add 5 to 6 drops, you're going to be, it might not turn out as well as you think. This is very, very powerful once you get it in, once you have it in your hands and you're smelling this and using it, tasting it, you will understand exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I had one more, and I'm trying to think what it was.
One more use for peppermint?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's gazillions of them, but I was going to mention some. Oh, she talked about focus. So one of the things that that we've had great success with, not Amy and I personally, but in the history of peppermint and the studies in peppermint, is that you can create environments and they use peppermint in particular, where you can create educational environments. So your body, if you diffuse peppermint when you study, so say it's time to study and you're cracking the books, or it's time for your child to study. You can sneak this in on your child and they'll never know it's happening. Every time they study, you put peppermint in the diffuser, and it increases their focus. And you put peppermint in the diffuser, and you put peppermint in the diffuser, and you just stay consistent with that. The next time you want that child to focus, you put peppermint in that diffuser, and they will automatically focus. They don't have a choice anymore, because they have become conditioned to, when they smell that aroma, they know it's time to focus. It's almost Pavlovian in response. That's how powerful these oils are, is because they begin to train the limbic system in your brain, that when you smell that oil, like I have a relationship with peace and calming. When I smell peace and calming, I know it is time to let go. And because I've had enough stress in my life and enough unique circumstances that I've used peace and calming during those times, and it has really helped me to relax and get under control. So when I smell that, I automatically know it is time to just let something go. And so you can do things like that with peppermint, because peppermint is so powerful as a focusing agent that it can really, when it's time to study, you just put that in there and your brain will automatically go there. And it's kind of like a cheat code for life. These oils really are the cheat code for life. There's just a simple way to do all these things. And this one's leaking all over my hands. So I don't know, but it is all over the place. I don't even need to put a drop, because it is all up in my business right now. We are excited to hear how you like to use peppermint in your life. If you are someone that has sensitive skin, or you think you have sensitive, and I'm not doing that to shame you. I'm just saying that's if that's kind of how you think about things, do what is called a skin patch test. And so you find a spot on your body, and it's a small spot, and you take this, when you open this up, you just put a drop on there, and you put it on you, and then you watch it for redness and irritation. If you don't, it's going to tingle. There's no doubt about that. It's going to tingle, and that's tolerable, and it actually feels really good. We'll use this oil to cool off on a hot day. If it's hot outside, you can't do anything about it. You just grab that peppermint, put it on the back of your neck, and it creates a cooling sensation throughout your upper body, and then that trickles down through. So you're going to feel these tinglings and this cooling effect. And all you're looking for is redness and irritation. If you don't have any of that, you're probably okay. And that's called a skin patch test. And if you do get it on parts of your body where it's a little less comfortable, because it will be a little less comfortable, you can get a carrier oil and just massage that in, and it will dilute that out. And unfortunately, I've had to do it more than once. And it cuts through that right away, and in seconds.
Yeah, a carrier is going to be any fatty oil, so it might be
Yeah,
olive oil or coconut oil, jojoba oil.
If you don't know what jojoba oil is, it's what everybody else calls jojoba oil, but it's actually called jojoba oil. And because we're both ones and we like to get things right and to educate well, we try and pass that along to you. So,
Okay, so I have something I want to ask of you. So we've presented several different things to you over the last couple of days, and so I want to know what has been your favorite so far, and I want to know how you used it. So
yep.
reply back to us and tell us what have you really loved, and we want to hear from you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.